Guys, what up? This is Mike Barron. I went from Section-8 housing to running multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, and I'm one of the passionate few. Interview today was super dope. Omar was a professional, asked great questions, listened. Thank you, Omar. And this is what I want you guys to get from this interview. My message is to touch people that are often left behind. What I mean by that is when I look around in the space, the guru space, the marketing space, people that are making millions and millions of dollars on the internet, I don't see too many people that look like me or that talk like me. So this is who I'm talking to. I'm talking to my people out there that want to, know where they're at and go to the next. And I want you to check out this interview. I hope you enjoyed the interview and I hope it does something for you. And I'll see you on the other side.
Hey guys, welcome to this special episode of The Passionate Few. Today, I'm extremely excited because we get to sit down with somebody whose story I assure you probably never heard before. None other than the CEO of Limelight Media, multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. He's a coach and he's somebody who's not only owned a gym and done it all, but he grew up from a very rough situation to not only building multiple seven-figure businesses, but helping thousands of people all around the world do the same thing as well. None other than Mike Barron. Thanks so much for being on the show today, Mike.
Thank you, man. Good to be on here, bro.
Yeah,
Good,
man.
Huge fan, man. Thank you for having me.
So much, man. And I'm a fan of what you're doing, man. To hear that you grew up from, a rough situation, and we'll get into your story.
Sure.
But to doing what you're doing now, I mean, it was a very unconventional path, right? I mean, You did everything from trying to make money to not doing well in school to getting mixed up in, the wrong people. And then later, you had a business with dogs and, you've done it all, man. So you've seen it all. We'll get into the story, but take me back, for the audience that maybe it's the first time they're hearing or learning about you, your story, what you do. Can you give us a little bit of context of first what you do today? And then we'll get into your story of how you started on your journey.
Yeah, no doubt. So what I do today is I help people make money on the internet. The bulk of my business for the last 6 years, I've been helping trainers, gym owners, fit pros generate leads, and I've been teaching them how to sell. So I at this point, I've helped thousands of fit pros all across the globe. So that's like my core business. I also teach people how to sell. So I have some of my products I'll talk about. I teach people how to close high ticket 30, 40, 50K deals. And that's blown up recently. And then I do one-on-one coaching, which is like my flagship or inner circle. So I'll tell you more about that, but that's like what I'm doing today.
Very cool, man. And it's kind of an unconventional path, right? Because when you started out, it didn't seem like you were headed for multiple seven-figure businesses early on, right? You kind of got mixed up in some interesting situations. So take me back, man. Where'd you grow up? What was your childhood like? And how did the ball start rolling for you?
Yep. Okay, cool. So grew up ghetto, grew up in Section-8 housing, had no money, grew up to a 16-year-old single mom. I was born to a 16-year-old mom. We were living with grandma. Had nothing, grew up with on government assistance, rough neighborhood. Was hyper as hell, dude. I'm gonna go back a little bit. So elementary school, bro, I had a lot of energy. Okay, I couldn't keep my hands off of kids, and the teachers were like, at the time, they were talking to my parents. They're like, yeah, he has some learning disabilities and ADD, OCD, ADHD, all that shit that they say. Yeah. And I remember, dude, at a parent conference, the principal was there, the nurse was there, and the teacher was there, and I was sitting on the carpet, and they're like suggesting that I take medications like drugs. Fortunately, my mom didn't let me take drugs. So I go through elementary school. I have problems. Can't keep my hands, to myself. I have my own seat. There's like 25 kids in the classroom, and I got my own seat, dude. You know what I mean? So just was bad as hell as a kid. Super hyperactive. I go to junior high, get it together, things start clicking, start getting pretty decent grades, got up to like a 3.8 grade point average. And then you fast forward a little bit more, and that's where things started to change. I wanted to be a gangster, dude. Okay, I wanted to be a tough guy. So at this time, I'm hanging out with the boys in the neighborhood, and I'm listening to like Tupac and Snoop and Brother Lynch and Death Row and all that shit that I used to listen to in the 90s. Right?
How old are you at this time?
I'm 36 now. At the time, I was 14, 15, ninth grade. So we're thugs. We're dressing like thugs. We're acting like thugs. We're beating up rivals and all that. We're rocking Ben Davis and khaki suits and Cortezes and just the whole shit, right? The whole gangster kid, right? Dude, but I'm walking out of high school, man, with 2 felonies. Walking out of high school, 2 felonies. and was never a bad person. You know, I'm not a saint. Even at the time, I was probably the ringleader of most of it. But I didn't have to do some of the things that we were doing. You know, this wasn't like stealing, or this wasn't like we were actually like robbing people. And I hate to like even say that. I've never really said that publicly like that.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing, dude. And it's not good, obviously. I knew at the time it wasn't good.
Just
a little bit more.
What was your mindset at the time that drove you to do it? Was it an inner rebellion?
Yeah.
Was it just, you know, fuck it, let me just kind of go for it?
Yeah.
Was it trying to prove to others how badass you were? What at the time, what was going through your mind that was fueling that?
So in ninth grade, dude, I just wanted to be tough. I didn't have like the technical ability to you know, influence people. So I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna be tough. And if you don't like it, then you're gonna have to deal with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was in junior high, I was hanging out with all my badass friends at Croc Middle School. And I was supposed to go to Madison High School. And my parents were like, breaks. We're sending you to you know, across town, and you're gonna go hang out with all like the surfer kids and over like La Jolla, UTC. And I hated it, dude. I fucking hated it, man. I was like an outcast, I felt like. Yeah. So that was kind of like my lane. I was like the tough dude in the school. I was like the gangster in the school. So in the beginning, it was just kind of like, just to be hard, just to be respected, just to be tough. You know, oh, someone has a problem, I'm like the first one who jumps up. Oh, this guy's tripping. Oh, I'm like the first one who jumps up. You know, that's like what it was in the beginning. And we started hanging out with the wrong people. There's some older dudes in the neighborhood. They're like pretty much robbing and you know, like going into houses and doing bad shit, and you know, kind of got recruited. And I was like, dude, I'm down, bro. You know me, I'm fucking down. You know what I mean? Sign me up, man. Let's go. Pick me up tonight. You know, so that's how it started. But in lieu of all this, dude, I was an athlete. I wrestled. I was captain on my team. I played football. And I want to point this out, Omar. I was always about. Let me go back a little bit again. I was always about money, dude. So I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I remember I would like literally trying to get my loose teeth to fall out so I could get money from the tooth fairy. Like I wanted money, right? I remember being, you know, like 8, 9 years old. And I used to ask my dad, my stepdad, because he came around later after I was born, and I was like, hey, how come we're not rich? Like, how come we like? Don't you want to be rich? And he's a joke. He's like, we are rich. I'm rich. His name's Richard. And I used to ask him all the time. I was just like, you know, how come we're not rich? Like, how come we don't just become rich? And you know, my family, bro, never had no money, very scarcity mindset, don't spend no money. So you go back to teenage years. At the time, you could start working at 16 years old, okay, with like a permit. I remember being 15 years old, dude. And I remember going to pick up job applications for Burger King, McDonald's, picking up applications from all like the local fast food joints. And on my 16th birthday, dude, I went to these different places and I turned in my application when I was eligible, like on day one, because I wanted to get a job. I wanted to make money. I wanted to buy a car. If you go back even a little bit before that, in junior high, I used to sell candy. So even though I was bad as hell, I didn't do drugs, but I was selling candy. And then shortly after that, I had like 4 or 5 kids selling candy for me. And I would break them off.
That's so
funny.
You did
the same thing, bro.
The exact same thing.
I knew it, bro. Yeah.
I had a route. And even at one point, I would get, Costco would sell these 30 packs of like Snickers and M&M's, Starburst, whatever, for $9.99. So it was like $10. There's a $20 margin on them. So what I did, I went around and I started selling them to kids. And then my buddy started seeing me make money.
Yeah.
I'd pay him $10 a day to hold the boxes.
And bro.
Refrigerated backpack. We keep them cool. And then we go sell them. And then at one point I started a franchise in a sense because I would leave the boxes in my teachers' rooms. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I would come pick up the cash and the teachers would let me keep the box in their room in exchange for free candy. So instead of going out and selling it, students were coming in all the 6 periods. Right. They'd come in, see the candy, buy it, and I'd pick up the cash at the end of the day. And it taught me business. So I get the hustle that it taught you early on.
Yeah. So you know, I continued that in high school. I had a friend I used to call him Roach. He used to wear a backpack. He had one in the front and one in the back. And he was like my little sidekick, man. He'd walk around like, hey man, who wants candy? And I got to the point, I got so cocky and arrogant. I was like, man, I don't fucking sell candy no more, bro. Go talk to Roach. You know, I'm the operator. So my boy, at the end of like each period, he would literally go to my car. I'll say my whip had the little push out windows. You know what I mean? They push out this way in the back. And this dude would go to my car at the end of each period, and he would just drop cash, dude, just fucking drop cash in the back of my whip. So I would go, you know, every other period or so, and I would just go find like, oh damn, 15 bucks, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks. And there was times when this dude was chasing me around. He's like, dude, where were you? I've been looking for you for 3 periods, man. I'm sold out. Like we're missing money. So I was doing that for a while. There's my boy Daryl too. My boy Daryl was on my wrestling team, and he used to talk shit to my friend Roach. He's like, man, you a fool, man. Mike's pimping you, man. Mike's your pimp. I just wanted to add that to the story, man. That's funny as hell. I haven't thought about that in a while. So that's pretty much me walking out of high school, dude. I do want to tell you this though. I remember turning 18. So I turned 18 in March. In normal school, at least here in California, San Diego, you finish school in June, right? For the summer. Right. So I remember turning 18 in March, and I'm like, damn, this is scary. Like, I can't mess around. I can't get in trouble. Like this, I'm an adult now. Then I remember thinking like, what the hell am I going to do in like 3 months? Like, what's the play? Like, what the hell is the play? what are we going to do? Man, I end up being really fortunate because right out of school, I got a job as a loan coordinator at Washington Mutual, which is now Chase. So right before that, my mom and, you know, my stepdad, you know, they're on some like, as soon as you turn 18, as soon as school's done, get the fuck out of here. You cause us a lot of hell, man. Like you ain't like, get the fuck out of here. Like, good luck. Okay. Good luck. You don't want to listen and, you know, obey these rules. Goodbye. So I remember that. It didn't turn out like that, dude. I ended up getting a decent job. I was making like 18, 19 bucks an hour, 2002, 2003. So I was like balling at 18 years old.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then so my house became like the hangout spot with all my boys. So I was just working for like a year or so. So you fast forward a little bit more. I end up buying my girlfriend at the time a dog, a pit bull. She wanted a pit bull. I bought her a pit bull. So I just become obsessed, dude, about pit bulls. By the way, that's like one thing I have. I'm like very obsessive, almost compulsive. You know, as a kid, I knew every Mortal Kombat character and their bios and their realms. You know, I have a new song I like, I'll listen to for like 8 hours straight. I have a book I like, an audio. You're nodding your head like you can identify with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a good quality. Remember they were saying I was like ODD back in the day, like obsessive or ADD. Yeah. Now it's like for success. So anyways, I buy a dog. A year and a half later, I have 18 dogs. I'm living on a ranch. I have like number 2, number 3 website on Google. When you look up blue pit bulls or blue pit bull puppies for sale, selling these dogs for like $410K. And then that's when my mind opened up from that point.
Where did the inspiration come to get the dog? So you get your girlfriend the dog. And then where's the light bulb turn on where you go, oh man, maybe I could turn this into a business?
Yeah. Okay. So I buy the dog. I start going to Google. It's like 2002, like early days of Google. And I start looking up blue pit bull puppies because I wanted a blue one. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, these cats are selling pit bulls for like 4Gs, 5Gs. Wow. What if I just buy one of those puppies and you know, raise it, and buy another puppy and raise it, and then I could start selling litters for like 4 or 5Gs and make like 5 times 7, that's 30. Man, I could make $35,000 breeding puppies, dude. Like, get the hell out of here. So that's how it started. And then I started contacting these guys and emailing these guys. I had no money, but I was just like, I wanted to be in the mix.
Yeah. You're brokering it.
Exactly, dude. And you know, like I said, about a year later, year and a half later, I moved from San Diego to a place called Curtin County. You ever been by the Grapevine? Past on the high before Bakersfield? There's that last gas station at the top before you go down to Bakersfield. I lived there, dude, in the boondocks, like the Grapevine, literally the Grapevine. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So nothing out there.
Crazy, man. But how are you able to afford so you got your girl the one dog? How much did you pay for that dog? Do you remember?
Yeah. So that was Baron. That was my first dog. I bought him for $250. And I started saving up some money, and I actually I bought a a dog named Don P, who was like, I turned that dog to become a world famous dog. I bought him for $5K and for co-ownership. So they put a $10,000 value on the dog. The truth is, this guy, this famous breeder in Colorado, his name's Nick. His friend, his boy owned the dog, Don P, but his boy was in prison, and his boy wasn't going to get out for like another year. So that dog was just sitting, doing nothing. Like his wife's taking care of it. So I was like, hey, dude, what's up with Don P, man? Like, what are you guys doing with that dog? Like, man, I'll buy that dog right now. You're like, man, get out of here. I was like, dude, I'll buy that dog for some change. Like, I'll give you like 5 G's. Yeah. So he leaves, talks to his boy. No one was really buying, like $10,000 dogs because it was a $10,000 value.
Right.
He comes back. He's like, yeah, my boy's in. Like the guy's in prison. This guy's gonna be 5 G's and I get co-ownership and he takes care of the dog. Hell yeah. Yeah. So that dog comes in that dog. I buy that dog. I'm like about to be 19 and I see the damn dog, dude. I have to send you pictures of this dog, bro. I'm gonna text you. This thing was the freakiest thing I've ever seen. Like, it is insane. Like, 105 pounds, pure muscle, smart as hell, could jump over a damn fence. It looks like a mountain lion, bro, just to give you like some reality on it. I'll send you a picture. Yeah. Okay. And I knew I was a winner. I was like, oh, bro, I'm done. I'm about to take over this whole damn game. I'm like, I'm done, bro. I'm set. So I turned that dog into a household name in the industry. And I start buying these other dogs. Here's what I didn't tell you. At the bank, there was a guy who used to sit next to me. And I was young as hell. I'm like 19. I'm like, bro, I'm about to make like $100,000 this year off of breeding dogs, man. Like, dude, I'm about to look at this, dude. I'm about to kill it. So we started talking about that every day. We worked at night shift. So after 5 o'clock, everybody went home. We was talking about dogs. This cat was a little bit older than me. He's about 30. I'm 19. And he was like trying to get into real estate and trying to make money. So he actually ended up buying a property. I didn't mention that. He bought a property in the Grapevine, and we got a ranch, and we had a whole barn with kennels, all set up, all professional, dude, in the Grapevine. Wow. So he put that up. So that's how I got into the dog game. And I was selling to NBA ballers, NFL ballers, multimillionaires. People would fly into my compound. I was traveling and winning awards and killing it. Like literally like 19, 20. I remember turning 21 in the Grapevine because they wouldn't let me buy beer. And dude, I remember just making like 30, 40K on a litter. Yeah. 20 years old, bro. Insane. Cash. Yeah. There's something.
Did it feel easy at the time? Did it feel like an easy play for you at the time, or how did it feel?
Dude, I was tripping, man. I was like, get the hell out of here. I was like, dude, I get to rock pit bulls and have the nicest pit bulls on the planet. People love me and they're going to give me money. Dude, I got to go see Kobe Bryant and meet all the Portland Trailblazers because they gave me free tickets. I was like, dude, I'm set. Like, I'm old, bro. I remember my stepdad came up and he's like, man, I'm going to work for you soon, man. What the hell? Forget this. I was on top of the world, on top of the fucking world, bro. What I didn't tell you is this though. So I'm like 20 and I'm like I used to be jacked, man. So I'm like all thugged out. I got my wife beater. I got fucking Tupac just to the 10s and I'm blasting. All the neighbors fucking hate me, bro. They hate me. They can't stand my guts. Small little town. Dude shows up all jacked. It looks like he got out of prison with all these damn pit bulls and just out there. The sheriff used to come to my crib every week, literally. I remember one time I was driving and I went to the library. The sheriff followed me, went into the library and called me out because somebody reported I was drinking and driving. Some weird shit. Like wow. He asked to smell my breath, which is kind of weird. Yeah. So one day, 2 of my dogs get in a fight. These are show dogs, but they just got in a fight. Like they got upset. I broke them apart. Boom. Sheriff shows up, bro. Throws me in handcuffs, sends me to jail. Okay. So I'm like, I'm handcuffed, dude. I'm destroyed. It brings me back to like my teenage days. I'm like, man, I could help people. I could do good. I could make an honest living. And even then, this is still my fate. Like, why? Like, why? I ended up in jail, dude. And I'm just sitting in damn jail with all these dogs. My aunt went to go help me out to go take care of the dogs. But I went to jail, man, for a short while I was getting processed. I was there for, I'd say, about a couple of weeks.
What was the charge?
It was like animal abuse, dog fighting. Yeah, it was a couple felonies.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I remember going in too.
Wow.
And some of the sheriffs are like, yeah, you're scum, man. Animal abuse, fucking pathetic. And I remember I was like, you don't know it's true. I like snapped at the sheriff. And also too, man, for a long time, I always felt like I had bad luck. I always felt like I had bad luck. They used to call me the Black Cloud. I'm trying to help with the dogs and I get arrested. I go into the store and everybody thinks I'm going to steal. I'm driving down the street and somebody wants to get into a fight with me. I go cruising. The damn police want to pull me over because I what they say, fit the description. I used to feel like I had a black cloud and they used to call me that. They're like, Mike's such a good dude, man. And he just has these problems. I just don't know why. And that went on forever. And I used to feel sorry for myself, man. I remember one time, okay, so that's what happened with the dogs. I got out of jail. The charges got dropped. I showed all the proof, testimonials and all that stuff. So that got dropped, but I was in jail for weeks. I moved back down to San Diego and I have nowhere to put these dogs. So I get out the game, I get out the business and I go into corporate. And I become, somehow, some way I became a career advisor out of college. Okay. So I'm like, even back then I was good at sales, man. I was like, yeah, career advisor, man. So I went from the fucking dog breeder to the career advisor. Yeah. So I'm a career advisor. And at that point, dude, when I got the phone call and I got that yes, I was like, I'm set. Omar, I was like, I'm set. I got insurance. I'm in my mid-20s now. My daughter's about to be born. I met my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and I was like, I'm set. I have a good, stable, decent job. I wanted to cry. So I go into the corporate world, hustle my ass off. After the second month, I become the #1 career advisor out of 250 people. Out of 250 people, 18 campuses. I become #2 in the whole damn company quick. I don't even go to the restroom. I don't even take a phone call. I'm just about working, dude. And even going back to my earlier days, I've always outworked people. At McDonald's, I outwork people in the dog game. That's just like a gift I was given. Yeah. So I do that for a little bit. I become a director at a college, and I start managing a team. I take the last place campus at a different college, turn it to #1. I read my first book on personal development, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Wow, Dale Carnegie, great book.
Carnegie, right? Changed my damn life. I couldn't put it down. I was like, I was like, dude, what is this? My friend gave it to me. My friend Keisha, who was like really educated. She has her MBA and all that. She's like, here, read this. It'll help you. It fucking blew my mind, dude. And then I start listening to like motivational tapes. First one was Eric Thomas. This is like 11 years ago. And there's a video, Eric Thomas, and he's just spitting. And there's like a football player that's like running up. You ever seen that?
Yeah. On YouTube, I've seen different mixes. There's so many. Yeah. But I've probably seen it, yeah.
And it's the one of when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe.
Yep.
So, dude, I just like, it's crazy. I'm like loving it. I'm like, dude, I need this. I want this. So I become obsessed with it. I'm playing it when I'm getting dressed. I'm playing it when I'm going to work. I'm playing it when I'm going to bed. I'm playing it on my Bluetooth in the shower. So I'm just like, dude, this is the best shit ever. Like, this is it. I start thinking a little bit different. I start talking a little bit different. I start moving a little bit different. When you first start doing development and you're starting to change when you get around people, like, how could I say this the right way? Like people that don't do personal development.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, man, I don't know.
And the contrast. Yeah.
Right. They're like, yeah, man, Wendy has that exam this Friday, but I don't know. It's just, she's struggling with chemistry. We'll see what happens. And I'm just like, ugh, what do you mean we'll see what happens? like you just start noticing, right, how people talk, right? So I'm doing that, and I'm starting to change a little bit. I end up finding Grant Cardone on YouTube, and I was like, damn, this is like, I like this guy, man. I was like, this dude's prolific. He walks that edge. I was like, I could identify with this. So I'm listening to him for 2 years. I'm like 26 years old now. And I'm like literally talking like these guys, like Eric Thomas and Grant. I was a career advisor, so I do my career services workshop, and I'm literally, bro, in the college speaking like Eric Thomas. I'm like, you think you're gonna graduate, become successful, and it's just gonna come to you? I dare you. I was going off, bro, and the teacher come in and look, and everybody was loving it, bro. I was operating on a via. That's what they call it. Like I embraced that, like with the face and everything. You know what I mean?
Channeling the inner ET. Yep.
Yeah, dude. Like literally, man. And so we became number one. Had a dope team and started building the team. And I had a vision at the time. I'm like, dude, we're gonna be so good that corporate's gonna ship us around to go teach the other schools how to place students to become successful in their career. Dude, that happened. I was in a Marriott suite like 4 days a week. I'm traveling all through California, which was beautiful. And then I got recruited, man. I'm like 27 now. I got recruited to be a president at a college. And one of my old associates went to a different school, and they're like, dude, we know a guy that will like take that brand new San Diego campus and like freaking do wonders with that campus. So I meet the woman, I meet the owners, and they like me. And I got my suit on and my smile on and my resume's on point. I got all the accolades and all the case, the reference letters. And they offered me a job. This is 2013. And they offered me a job as a campus president. At the time, my career goal was to become a president at a college. Like I could have been a 50-year-old man, and I made it. That was like my career goal.
Yeah.
And they offered me like a 6-figure income. So dude, like my paychecks are like 4 bands, 5 bands. It was at the time. What? I was like, no way. And Omar, when I got that job, I remember I hit up all my close friends and all my family members, and I was texting them, copy paste. And I was like, just thank you for being there for me. Thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for being a positive influence on my life. And like this is what has happened. And you played a part in this. We had a big ass party. And I was sending that to everybody. I was just like so thankful. So now 6 months later, dude, the school loses accreditation, and the black cloud. So Tony Robbins talks about loss of identity. Have you heard that? Like loss of identity, right? So one day I'm looking in the mirror as a campus president. The next day I'm unemployed. I was fucking destroyed. It was the dog thing that let me down. It was a couple other things that let me down. And now I became this president. I didn't even, like use the restroom. I worked on Saturday. I worked on Sunday. I worked when nobody was looking. I kept going. I went to go help the other schools. And then still, even then, that can get pulled from me. And I was like destroyed, man, for a little while. And I remember all my old friends from the old schools were like, dang, dude, like you must be killing it, man. How are things? And it was like after I got unemployed, I was like, just figuring it out. And they're just like, what? Figuring it out, So you fast forward a little bit more, I go to job interviews, and on paper, I'm overqualified to take like a director role or like a career advisor role because I progressed. Right. And on paper, I'm underqualified to be a president because I became a president in a very, very short time. I'm competing against cats with 20 years experience on paper. I don't have my master's. Shit, dude, I don't even have my bachelor's. I have like 130 units. So I'm getting shut down, bro. ITT Tech shutting me down. There's all these colleges that they're interviewing me, and I'm getting shut down. One thing is, you can see I talk. I'm out there. I like energy and excitement. I'm going to these interviews, dude, and I'm not listening. I'm just fucking talking. So I was catching myself, and I knew I was too damn turned up. These educators were just like, whoa, that guy's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not working. I'm not getting no job, and it's just not working, and it's not happening. I ended up calling Grant. He was live on YouTube one day. Hey, call in. Let me solve your problems. I called him. I told him my story. I was like, hey, bro, I've been following you for many years. You've had this impact on me. And I was like, hey, man, I have this situation where I've done really good. I got let go, and I'm interviewing, and I find myself like having to turn myself down because I'm just like too much for these people. Like, what are your thoughts? And he was like, dude, you need to get in the right vehicle. He's like, you need to get in a vehicle where you can channel that, like that kind of output. And then he says, dude, when are you gonna come over here? I was like, what do I got to do? He's like, dude, call Jared. So I called Jared, who's the VP over there at Grants. And I talked to him like on a Thursday, Friday. Dude, I'm in Miami on Tuesday, bro. I get an offer like in 2 days. Yeah. I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I want to go do this. Like, you fall back. Let me go meet with this cat. Let me go learn from the best. My intention was to learn for like a year, get some real skills on sales, and like really come back and apply that to one of my businesses. So I went there, lasted about 3 months. I hated it. It was foreign to me because for the first time in my career, I was around people like more skilled, more experienced. You know what I mean? I was like the star quarterback in high school, and I would go over to college, and I'm like, I ain't shit, man. Yeah. It sucked, dude. And even my wife at the time, she was like, no, everything you did, all the hard work, it got you there. Those people invited you there for a reason. Like, just keep going. And dude, I remember like I was destroyed, and it sucked, and I didn't last long. I gained a lot of skills. I came back down to San Diego, and I started my website company. And my first year we did like 100 grand. My second year we did like $250,000. The stuff I learned over there, bro, like just leveled me up. And the stuff I was seeing Grant say in person, it was hitting me like years later. I was like, shit, that's what that dude was talking about. Like he would say something and it would make sense. My mind wasn't ready for it. You get it?
Yeah.
And I mean, since then, I started the business 5 years ago. Okay. We started a website company. We signed up Patrick Bet David. I'm sure you're familiar with Patrick Bet David.
Yeah, we've had him on the show. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So we hired, I called PBD for like a year, and we got his website deal, and we got his PHP website deal. Conor McGregor, Michael Bisping, UFC champions, Chris Weidman. We had a deal with Solar City. I started doing about 50 grand a month. I'll say about 4 years ago, man. And shit, man, like last month we did 1.2 million. Just saying.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
That's
so
wild, man. So it's almost like you kept trying, and then you were looking for the vehicle. You had the skills, found the vehicle, and then boom, once it clicked, you just ran all the way with it.
Yeah. I talked to one of my boys recently, and he's like, man, congrats on what you're doing. So Omar, doing 50 grand as a business owner with employees, that ain't shit, dude. I'm making less than I did in corporate by far. Yeah. And I'm at the office till 11 o'clock at night. And even before I had an office, I was working till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just wearing myself down, dude. And I'm maybe like a percentage. I'm like 1% of what I'll become. But I feel like now, dude, and I've been doing over 6 figures a month for almost 2 years now. Like right now, like this year, and actually very recent, I feel like I'm starting to break through. And what I mean by that is shit is just flowing, bro. Easy. Like there's just success falling out of the sky and opportunity falling out of the sky. And this, it's just crazy, man.
What do you notice as being the biggest energetic difference between you now and you then? Or do you think it was necessary to go through kind of that shit show, that storm for a little bit as you kind of wiggled your way to clarity? Or do you find that do you find that you earn the momentum you're in mostly? I'm sure that's a part of it. Or do you find like it was really just a matter of the right vehicle? Because you always had skill sets. Because I think so many people listening have the skills, but they struggle with the vehicle. And because they don't have a vehicle, they never prove that their skills can turn into something, material, money, or otherwise. And that gets into their head and it becomes a negative feedback loop. Right. And they might have greatness in them, but because they never saw the results in the right vehicle, start doubting their greatness, and little by little it withers away. So can you just speak to the biggest energetic difference or realization between you now and momentum, doing what you're doing versus you when you kind of like start, stop, or getting kind of stuck?
Okay. So there's a couple things I want to talk to you about. One was, I would say one is, removing like any counter intentions. And I want to tell you a couple stories about this, removing any counter intentions. And then I would say even though I thought I was a tough dude, like growing up, even though I was like, man, I crush people in corporate. My work ethic is too good. My skills are too good. My thinking was too small, dude. My thinking. I think there's two things that you need to do to be successful. And I think it's you need to grow your awareness, like your knowledge of how like universal law works or principle or gravity. And then you have to have a lot of skill sets. So I would say a couple things that have changed for me. And also you got to be in alignment, bro. Your ethics got to be clean. You can't be a great entrepreneur and, you know, be like cheating on your spouse. It don't really, it will catch up to you. It don't really work like that. So here's a couple small things that happened for me. I had my business partner used to sit next to me at grants. So when I came over, I recruited him. I bought him out in 2017. So we're doing the deal for about 2.5 years. I bought him out. He left and he got some new mentors, and this dude started making like 150K a week. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what am I doing? Like, what? This is 2017. I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
So he was talking about some coaches and mentors that are helping him. And he was like, Mike, the problem with you is that he's like, you got too many counter intentions. He's like, you want to do something, but then there's like some sort of stop. You're not like sold, like completely sold on it. There's just some sort of like brakes on there. Nick, I want to do this, or I'm going to do this, but he's like, dude, he's like, all the restrictions you're having right now, man. He's like, a man told you that. He's talking about mankind. He's like, a human being told you that. He's like, dude, you need to stop operating off the laws of man. I was on my balcony when he told me this, and I remember it. He's like, dude, you need to start operating like a fucking god. He's like, what Elon Musk does, what Steve Jobs, you think of like they're operating under the laws of man. He's like, dude, you need to become a god. Like literally, you need to. He's like, right now, his name is Nick Pena. They call him Nick Legend. So shout out to Nick. And he's like, do you think? He's like, do you think those guys operate on man? I'm like, no. He's like, dude, listen. Right now, I'm focused on touching 1 billion people. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, the billionaires of the world, they're not worried about themselves. They're not worried about their community. They're not worried about their group. He's like, dude, they're talking about changing mankind for the better. He's like, Zuckerberg, he made it possible to communicate with all your friends and family members for forever. Your friend from 10th grade. He's like, you know, Steve Jobs created the iPhone, communication. Elon's doing. I was like, what? And he started opening up my mind. So that was like one conversation, dude, like fucked me up. I was like, okay. And then he told me that. So watch this. You're gonna love this story, dude. You go back to like 2016, and I'm like making a living. I have my own business. I know how to sell because I learned from Grant. I'm on the internet. You know, I'm talking about being successful and be positive, and you know, there's no limitation, and in everything you want to be, you know, you could be. I'm just talking all that shit on the internet.
Yeah.
One of my clients at LA, Alex, he's like, bro, I'm gonna be in San Diego. I'll be in San Diego this weekend. I want to come by, give you a big hug, check out the crib, and I want to meet your family. I was like, okay, cool. So he hits me up on you know, he's in town. He's like, hey, dude, what's your address? I'm gonna come by. I was like, no, just let's meet me at the office. He's like, no, bro, I gotta meet your wife. I was like, no, now's not a good time. House is dirty. He's like, no, don't, dude, stop, man. I don't give a shit about that, dude. Like, come on, let's meet. I've been talking to this cat for like a year almost. He's like, let's meet. The point was, dude, I was talking about being successful and being great and flexing and you know, doing all this cool shit. And I was living in a $1,200 2-bedroom small apartment which is fine if you have one, but it didn't reflect the words I was speaking. Like I'm talking to Alex, like, yeah, man, you know, we're killing it, man. We're crushing it, bro. Record breaking month. And I got this old ass little rinky dink apartment in like, you know, I was embarrassed, bro. This is recently. This is 2017. Yeah. It's not that long ago.
So you felt incongruent.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Incongruent. So I ultimately said no. I was like, there's no way. Meet me at the office. I had an office down the street, which wasn't shit either. Yeah. So that hit me hard, man. I told my wife the situation. I said, hey, listen, you know, Alex wanted to come visit. I didn't let him visit because I was embarrassed how we're living. And that's not cool. Like, I don't agree with it. Like, how the hell could I be saying all this stuff and, you know, positivity and success, and I'm embarrassed to invite people to my home. It don't make no sense. I was like, dude, this will never happen again. let's move to a nice place. Let's move to a place that we can afford. Let's move to a place that we can be proud of. Even at the time though, Omar, we could still kind of afford it at the time. Okay, I have like
it was a stretch though. Like you were
little
stretching yourself. Yeah.
It's like a $4,000 apartment where I wanted to move.
Yeah.
So I told my wife, I said, listen, this is gonna be like 3 times the rent, damn near. No, actually, yeah, it's gonna be 3 times the rent, 1,200 to like 4,000. And I'm gonna work harder than I've ever worked. I'm gonna produce more money than I've ever have. I just want your blessing. She gave me no resistance. She's like, you can do it. I was like, done. She's like, yeah. So Omar, I know we're gonna talk about some of my ideas and philosophies,
right?
But sometimes it's not really like this. Sometimes it's like fuck, jump. Sometimes it's like just jump and you just level up.
Right. The leapfrog theory. Yep.
Okay. Is that what they call it? The leapfrog theory?
Yeah. Yeah, they call it the leapfrog theory. I had a mentor one time, and I was telling him I was stuck, at an income level, and I was like, man, how do I get to the next level of my income? And he told me, go lease a car you can't afford.
No shit. That's the same thing I just told you.
Yeah. And he was like, because if you do that, now you have to do it, and now you feel good doing it.
Right.
So now instead of being in, whatever the car and whatever the vehicle, I mean, for people listening, it doesn't matter, whatever the thing is for you, the apartment, the car, something else, whatever.
Right.
Because then now you're locked in. Say you do a 3-year lease on a car that you could really afford. Now you're like, dang, now when you're in the car driving, you feel good, you want to do good. Now you have to make that payment, as opposed to being comfortable, being in like the cheapest thing possible, the cheapest this, because then your mind doesn't have to. It just wants to, and it's hard to strive out of comfort. It's better to strive out of when you have a reason to, when you have a compelling reason to stretch, as opposed to just, I want to make money for the sake of making money. When there's a reason and there's a consequence, you do it.
Yeah. That was my first year. So we're doing about 50K a month, but I wasn't making that kind of money, dude. I was like making a living for sure. But after I did that, man, that's when my paper started to stack up.
So did you notice the pressure actually make you like, oh shit, like we got to really produce now.
Bro, it was the next day. Like we moved and I was different. Like we moved and my income was like here, and then we moved. It was just like bam. It was wild as hell. It just jumped, dude. It just jumped.
Your brain had to look for new opportunities, new ways. You were naturally going to follow up with the clients instead of being comfortable. It just more cylinders were firing off to have to make it work. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got this like little theory on that, dude. I'm like, okay, so one or two things are going to happen. We're gonna figure it out, or we're gonna die. And I haven't died yet, so we're just gonna fucking figure it out. And we just figured it out. So it was that kind of talking to my boy Nick Pena. That situation happened, and it did something for me. I want to tell you a quick story on that, real. It's not really my story, but we're at my bigger office now. This is recently, year and a half ago. There's some big internet marketer at my office. This dude's doing like $1 million a month, and he's hanging out. He wants to see all the action because it's like webinar week at my office, and I bring him as my boy, and he brings his crew. They roll up in the Maybach, and he has his whole entourage. They're like 10 deep. So we go out to the steakhouse. We go to Black Angus down the street, and all the bosses are on the one end of the table. So it's me, it's this dude, it's like one of my inner circle students, and somehow this young kid like makes his way over there. He got to hang out with the bosses, right?
Right.
So watch. I think you're gonna like this. I hear everybody, making their orders. She comes up to him. She's like, "What would you like?" The dude's like, "Well, how much is the sirloin?" No. How much is the ribeye? She's like, $28.99. He's like, "Okay, how much is the sirloin?" And she's like, "Oh, it's $14.99. He's like, "Okay, I'll take the sirloin." Okay. So I'm like super keen on it. I'm just super keen on it. So she goes off and orders. And I'm like, "Hey, I already know the answer." I'm like, "Hey, man, why did you order the sirloin?" He's like, "Huh?" I was like, "Why did you order the sirloin?" He's like, "Oh, because the ribeye is $28.99. I was like, okay, I got you. That makes sense, man. Let me ask you a question. So the other cat I brought as a guest, he's just like listening. He's like, what is this Mike going to tell my assistant? I said, "Hey, bro, let me ask you a question, dude. Are you a good person?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, do you work hard?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I was like, do you deserve like a steak? Like, do you think God put you here to say you can't have a steak, or you think you should have a steak? He's like, "No, I should have a steak." I was like, "Bro, listen, come here. I was like, dude, this fucking guy you roll with right here, he's a multimillionaire. Me, dude, I'm doing my thing too. This guy next to me, This dude's a multiple six-figure earner, my student. I was like, all these people here, man, all these 15 people, dude, you may never capture this moment again. And you just sat at the right area. I was like, bro, that $14 you're trying to save, that's going to be gone tomorrow. It's going to be gone tomorrow. But that $14, if you spend to have that great sirloin in this great moment, you'll have it forever, bro. So, are you sure you want the sirloin? He's like, nah. He called the woman down. He called the woman down. He's like, and he changed his order, right? So you already know. He changed his order. She brings out this. She brings out the ribeye with the mashed potatoes, beautiful, like big old steak, and she puts it on his plate, and I'm just watching him, and and he takes a cut, he takes a bite. I was like, bro, how was it? Best fucking steak ever. So the lesson really, Omar, is this, and I know we didn't get here yet, but it's like it's when you get the chicken sandwich because it's cheaper, or you just settle on the cheap apartment, or you can buy the white shoes and the black ones, but the white ones are a little bit cheaper because they're less in demand. You can save $30. When you're doing that, dude, you want to be successful, you're fucking yourself. That's what I found. And that was the counter intention thing that my boy Nick was talking about. That's literally one of the things that changed my life. Like and I'm still doing my thing, and we're making some money today, but when you go to the store and you look at the Jordans, you're like, shit, 210. I literally feel like you're fucking yourself, because that's not what you want. You want abundance. You want whatever you want because you deserve it.
Yeah.
So that's
my little thing. Did you find that was something that mentally was kind of like scary for you, or did you know? Because and the reason I want to harp on this is because I have found this to be true, where when sometimes you're looking for motivation to take you to the next level, when in reality, like a commitment will take you to the next level. Pressure will take you to the next level.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are dependent on an idea and insight, but sometimes, nothing, sometimes Tony Robbins motivational and I love Tony, and I've had the privilege of meeting him. He's changed my life. But sometimes a payment that you can't afford on something you love or really want will motivate you. It'll inspire you to be like, damn. Right. Like for me, like there was a luxury gym that I used to go to by the house. I'd have like $500 in my account. This was years ago. and the gym membership was like $170 a month, and it was like luxury. Yeah. So I'm spending like 50% of my net worth at Equinox. I'm spending 50% of my net worth there, but it's because when I go to 24-hour fitness, it's dudes like smoking weed in the parking lot, and it's like people from high school or just familiar. Right. When I go to Equinox, I'm in the locker room, and the guy spotting me is like the CEO of this. He's the VP of this, marketing for Disney. Yeah. So you're around the energy. So that's the people you're sitting with, talking with, working out with, joking around with. You see them all the time. Oh, you've been. Oh, we actually need somebody to help us with our online stuff or our ads, and higher level. So you get a higher type of clientele, as opposed to like, let me just let me get the Costco special for our fitness. Let me hold on to what I got, because it translates to everything else in your life.
Yeah, people need to know the power of access. They do. Like people. So I gave a coach. I must have did about $50,000 last month in personal development, and I brought on a marketing coach. I'm really a sales dude disguised as a marketer. So this guy has some marketing stuff I don't have. So I got my $1 million plaque right here. Okay, we'll get another one in about before the end of the year. We're very close. And he has a $10 million plaque. Okay, big 2 Comma Club X award, and he asked me for 25K, and it was for like 8 meetings. I mean, it's a significant amount of money. 8 hours for 25K. And we met the following day, and he's like, "Man, I noticed something about you that's different." And I was like, "Tell me." He's like, "You didn't twist my arm. You didn't try to like get a discount. You like everybody fucking does that. You didn't do that." I was like, "No, bro, because if I twist your damn arm, you're not gonna, whether you think about it or subconsciously, you're not gonna deliver." I was like, "Dude, I'm paying for access." And then we're getting grooved in. It's been about 4 weeks. He's like, "Mike, you don't ever ask for shit." I was like, "No, bro, I call you and text you when I need you." He gave me one line already that's been about $400,000 in production. He gave me one new thing on pricing, and it's made literally $500,000 in the last 4 weeks. I promise you. Yeah. And the point is, you pay for the access, right? You pay for the line. So you didn't have the money, but you're around a different environment. You're around CEOs, and it's just like one little freaking connection or, you know, a relationship is over, you know, and that, so that kind of goes in what I'm saying, but people got to start thinking different, not like, how do I shrink? Like, what could I create? Like, how, what could I cut corners on? What could I say? What could I twist people's arm on to save money? No, dude, it's like, what the hell can you create? That's where
How can I multiply what I have? How can I grow what I have? How can I expand what I have?
Exactly, man.
How can I get the most out of what little I have?
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. Now, let me ask you this. As you sort of left Grant Cardone and got the experience from there, can you share maybe like one of the most transformational pieces of wisdom you got from Grant that maybe resonated later, just for the audience listening right now who would be like, damn, I wish I could be a fly on the wall working for Grant? I'm sure there's a lot of gems, but is there any one in particular that helped make a shift that really you noticed?
There was one thing that changed my life. There was many things, and it changed my life when I went over there. It's not what you read in a book. It's not the growth con. It's a little bit different in a good way. It's like fucking Navy SEALs training. Those boys are bad. Okay, they're bad. I bet you I'll fuck them up now, but I don't think they're doing $1 million a month like me. So anyway, when I remember this guy who's still there, and his name is Todd Straw, and he was he's been a huge impact on me. He doesn't even know it, but I need to reach out to him. And it was my first week there, and I'm like, yo, Todd, man, I want to be able to sell like Grant. You know, he has all the word tracks, and he has all the answers, and he hard closes, and he's like, bro, you know what you're talking about, dude. He's like, Grant, his understanding of people is on a world-class elite level. Like, there's very few people that have that ability. And he's like, his communication is like world-class. I'm like, what's this communication? He's like, yeah, communication. He's like, communication is like this. He's like, it's like a tennis match. So when you meet somebody, it's like you want to hit them the ball, and you want them to hit the ball back, and you want to get into a volley, and that's where you start a relationship, and that's where you actually start signing these big deals. He's like, the problem with you right now, because I was there for a week, is you're hitting them the ball, and nobody serves it back. You're talking to the GM, he's hanging up on you. When I hit the ball, I actually get, I send out a smiley face, I get a smiley face back. You send a smiley face, and they send you a frown. So you don't know the mechanics of communication. So he goes off to tell me the mechanics of communication and how you have to have like very clear intentions, and you have to make sure that you send that image to that person, and they actually duplicate what you're seeing, and you make sure they know it, and you get it back. And dude, it fucked me up. Like, there's more to that, but I was like, I was blown, bro. Like, the power of communication. So now it's literally that one conversation I had is the premise of everything I do at my company. I have 40 people in one company. I have 4 companies right now. The very first thing that everybody does before they do anything, they go through my communication course that I sell to students. That's the first thing. If you don't know how to communicate, we're not doing anything. He used to tell me like, yeah, communication, man, it's everything. It solves problems. It dissolves problems. Like, if you can communicate, you can do anything. This was what Todd was giving me, but Grant gave that to Todd. So that was like, literally, it's not sexy, it's not exciting. Communication, that's how you make them. Bro, I'm telling you, that was the piece. That was the piece I needed. Yeah.
How can people improve their communication skills? Do you have any quick 1 or 2 tips that people out there can try to do?
Dude, simple thing. This is not everything. Simple thing. You have to get your acknowledgement. People don't generally know like high level communication. So you have to get your acknowledgement. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, I'm gonna mess with my wife. She's not here to defend herself though. So I'm out the door. Hey, I'm gonna go to the store and go grab some water, go grab whatever hell we need. I'll be right back. I'm out the door, and she's like, don't forget the milk. It was never received. I come back, and now I'm a bad guy. She's like, what are you doing? I told you to get freaking milk. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, when you're walking out, I made it very clear, go get milk. And I'm like, what? Okay. The point is, there was no acknowledgement. And then she didn't get that acknowledgement back that I got the message, which could have been, hey, get milk. What is it? Hey, make sure you get milk. Okay, cool. I'll get milk. Now we're good. Now we're in communication.
Yeah.
So that's what happens so often. Go in public, go to any place of business, go see two people. You'll see like one dude talking or a woman talking, and you'll see they're really not on the same communication line.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, that's how I mean, you know, we did $800,000 in the month of October in sales. We did 1.2 in November, just, you know, 10 days ago. Okay. Thank you, Shaq. The guy I gave 25 G's to. And it's literally, it's the communication, dude. I literally believe that's most of it. It's not like, let me just crush it. Let me sell it. Let me slam this deal, man. Let me close you. It's communication, dude.
Yeah,
That's one big thing.
I totally believe in. Tony Robbins talks about the quality of your life comes down to the quality of your communication. And
Wow.
I think so a point to acknowledge, because I found for me that communication really starts internally. The better you can communicate with yourself, the better you can communicate with others. You know, Ed Milet talks about you cannot transfer that which you're not experiencing. So if you're not experiencing internal communication, it's very hard to sustainably communicate well with others if you yourself internally aren't clear.
Yeah,
and that's what I tell people. A lot of people say, you know, how do you articulate so well, or how do you ask such great questions, or how do you, you know, and I'm grateful, you know, and I'm grateful for that. But I think it's number one, I'm genuinely aligned. I actually care deeply about what I'm asking. I've thought about it. I also see when I communicate, I think a huge thing that's important is people hear words, but I think excellent communicators communicate photos, communicate image.
Yeah, bro. Of course.
Movie. That way the person can see the movie.
Exactly.
Boom, now you're talking about the same movie instead of just talking about words one ear out the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's spot on, whether it's sales, life, business, relationships, intimacy. I mean, every area of life is about quality communication. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're eloquent and you pronounce things.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about.
Exactly.
You know, we're not talking like the Queen of England over here. That's not what I'm saying.
Exactly. Communication is about understanding and explaining things in a way that others can understand, you know?
Right. You know, one thing I'm telling you with you from watching your podcast in the past, and you do this at a very high level, dude. You're very present. You're very present, bro. Like you're very here on planet Earth and you're with that person. Right. And I noticed that people that are like very high level have that quality. They're not like here in outer space, and they're literally like here. So I noticed that about you, dude. And it's great to see. Let me tell you real quick thing with the communication thing though.
Yeah.
I said that people generally don't know communication. Mm-hmm. So if they don't acknowledge you, go get your acknowledgement. So I'll go like this to one of my sales guys. Hey, Cody, make sure you start using the new DocuSign. Sound good? Question mark. Because I need him to say yes. I need to get that acknowledgement. So just that little, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because now I'm forcing him to actually acknowledge it. Or if I fail to do that, I said, hey, Cody, make sure you use the new DocuSign. And a day goes by. I'm like, Cody, what the hell's going on, man? You never used the new DocuSign. I told you yesterday. I didn't see it. There was no acknowledgement. I don't know if he got it. So just those simple little small things. Does that make sense? Okay, cool.
Good. Yeah, totally. No, and I learned that from David Meltzer too. Does that make sense? Sound good? Does that sound fair? Okay. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. I love that. Now let's talk about what you do now. Because it sounds like you've had an amazing track record of ups and downs, all the while having a mindset and being passionate about what you're doing, just trying to find that vehicle. Talk to me, fast forward to today. You know, what are you doing now? How did you see the need in the marketplace? And what are some of the ways you're helping people take their business to the next level?
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about my core business. And when I say my core, it's been like my go-to product for the last 4 years or so. So I run Facebook ads for fitness professionals, and I teach them how to sell. I sell this pretty big, robust membership site. It's called MTC, Motivated Training Clients. And it's kind of like what Grant used to do with Lightspeed VT. They log in, they get quizzed, and basically we generate leads for Fit Pros, and we teach them how to sell. That's what it is. We have right now active hundreds of people. It's closer to 1,000 than it is to 500. We have a lot of people on that program. I have a sales team. We're about 25 deep, 30 deep. You know, so it's a pretty big organization. So I run an ad agency doing that. That's one thing I do. The second thing I do is we launched a new product. Okay. So we have to put like a link here. It's called Mike Barron's Closer Academy. So I'm teaching newer people in sales. I'm literally teaching them how to close deals, learn high ticket, and show them some of the methods that I've used. In that program, I give them $250,000 of sales of me closing from the open all the way to the credit card. And it cuts like right when they're putting in the credit card. I haven't been in the closer seat for over 2 years because I have a big old team now. So it's teaching them how to sell. That thing caught fire. Like we did, again, over $1 million in our first 2 months. And on that, and it's just cranking them. Like
congratulations, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's the product we'll get another 2 Comma Club on. We'll make $1 million in 3 months off that one product. It's just, it's exploding, dude. And people are loving it, and we're getting huge results.
Who's it for? Who are some of the salespeople that you help, and what are some of the products and services? What's the range of industries that you can help people in as it relates to sales?
So this is what I found, man. So man, I feel like I'm never going to be the best funnel builder in internet marketing. I'm never going to have the best frameworks for video. I could be, like how I'm talking, but that's just not my lane. Right. But one thing I have done, dude, in digital marketing, I've made a multi-million-dollar traditional ad agency, and it's because of my sales game. Like my sales game in this industry is, I would put it against anybody. It's fucking elite. It's very high. So I'm teaching people now to go learn how to sell like me. And then I'm teaching them how to go prospect and hit up other 2 Comma Club winners and other big time marketers that make $1 million. Because a lot of internet marketers they don't do sell. They have the automation and the book a call, but they're not tearing up the phones like my people are, like how they would do at GCs.
Right.
I'm having these people learn the skills and then go target those big time marketers, and they're taking like commission-based jobs. I have a kid named Ryan. He's about 22 years old. He bought my program October 1st. He's done $140,000 in sales in the first 2 months. These guys gave him crazy commission. He made like 40 grand in his pocket in the first 2 months. Young kid out of London.
Even during COVID, working from home.
Oh, bro, we're killing it right now. It's all inside. Everything's on Zoom. The demo's on Zoom. Everything's on the internet. Yeah. So that's what we're doing today, man. I just want to say this, man. I just want to say this. I can't get too cocky. I haven't done shit, but it's weird, bro, to wake up to 30K, and then wake up to 30K tomorrow on recurring, and then on Wednesdays 30K, and it's like it's different, bro. I'm like,
what would the young Mike who sees the success of your business today say? Would he trip at what's happening?
Yeah. No way.
Part of the plan to do this well.
When I was on personal development for years, and I was talking about being successful, and I started wearing wristbands about "see you at the top," which is my slogan, which is freedom. Even when I was already on the shit of walking that path, my career goal, Omar, was to be a campus president. That was like the end all. That's like $100,000 income. And I would have, at the time, I'm like, man, if I could make that at 50, I would have been good. Yeah. It was not real, bro. It was not real. I had to open up my mind, dude. I had to open up my mind. I had to grow my skill sets. I had to get rid of the counter intentions. You know what? I think of this. This is one what whoever watches this to understand. Let's talk about intentions versus counter intentions. Omar, I want to operate with full intention. I literally want to go to the grocery store and get front row every single time. I want to pull up to every stoplight and be green. I move like that, like literally, right? So this is what I think. When you go to a door, whether it's in San Diego or LA or New York City or Dubai, doesn't matter. You go up to the door, you unlock the door, you open it, you walk out. You don't go up to the door and say, oh shit, damn. What if it doesn't open? What if it gets jammed? Right. You don't do that. It's nothing, right? So when we go after these targets or these goals that we're going for in 2021 or this month, I believe you should attack those just like you open the door. Stop stopping and thinking and hesitating and doubting yourself. Like literally, dude, I'm walking up the door and open the damn door. Oh, we're going after a record-breaking month. I'm going after the record-breaking month. I'm going to go up to it and unlock the damn door, and I'm going to go. And these are some things I believe that people should do so they can get to the next. And for me, that was a 10-year process. You know, I think it, you know, starts with your thoughts and your words. As soon as you get that little negative thought, you got to crush that negative thought and replace it with like, which may be like at the time a lie. I'm not good at, you know, chemistry. Who gives a shit? Yes, you are. Today you are, you know? So,
act as if it's going to work out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah. I had one of my students visit me this year, inner circle student, paid me a lot of money, 30K to start. Now it's 50K. And I was just gassing myself up. I was like, dude, listen, when you come down to San Diego, bro, I was like, you're gonna trip out. I was like, you're gonna see I get everything. You're gonna see that shit moves out the way for me. Yeah. And you're gonna be kind of tripping. So I was telling him this. He came down to San Diego, and I shit you not, we didn't hit any red lights. We went to a restaurant, and there was like a nice section. And I told the woman I wanted to sit there. And she's like, oh, that's for like a party of 6 and more. You have a party of 4. I was like, okay, that's cool. I said, hey, check this out. My close friend here just came down from Philadelphia, never been to San Diego. I come to this restaurant like twice a month, and it's true, for the last 10 years, 8 years. And like, I would really want to sit there so we could show them a good time. Okay, so like, could you hook us up? Well, okay, cool. Let me talk to a manager. Omar, I'm not here to bully people and take advantage, but I know I go to that restaurant more than any damn person. Okay. My boy did come to town to get a good experience. So manager comes in, she lets me go. And I just look at my wink. I was like, I told you I get everything I want. You know, I drop on my wife, I'm gonna go hang out. Let's go to the cigar bar and go puff on some cigars. We pull up to the damn bar, front row, car just moves out the way, and we go. Okay. Yeah. Happy again. We go to, you know, the front, and he doesn't have his damn ID. He's young too. Dylan's 21, so he's young as hell. Yeah. And the guy's like, "Yep, no ID, can't get in." I was like, "Hey, my man, dude, listen, do me a solid, bro. My boy just flew in town. Like, we're just come in, hang out, bro. Like, you know what it is, man." He's like, "All right, come in." But a lesser person with less intentions, I should say, is getting shut down at the damn bar, is getting shut down at the damn restaurant, is getting shut. And he just looks at me, he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, how does this happen? And it's just like operating in life in pure intentions. It's just, and it's just, that's what's happening for me right now, dude.
and I love that there's a common thread there. It's that you're reaching and trying to open the door.
Yeah, exactly.
You're trying. Most people go, oh, there's a door. Shit, I guess they just want to walk where there's no doors.
Yeah, man.
Straight open hallways.
Yeah.
Challenge is crowded there. The rooms are empty, but the hallways are crowded, and most people are in the hallway. Absolutely. Yeah. I have a similar story in that, and I resonate with this 100%, because when I started the show, I was totally broke, and this is how I would get all my interviews. Is I would just walk into it with an energy that it's going to work out. You delude yourself into thinking it's going to work. And it starts with the little things, you know, because if you pull up to a parking lot, you know, like I have a lot of friends who will always, you know, say they're driving, you know, those people that go, oh, it's crowded. So they go to the back. They don't even look at the front, right? Because it's crowded.
Opted out.
I'm like, nah, man, trust me. Like if they're in the front, means they're probably been there. Someone will walk out, and literally 9 times out of 10, like be intentional. I want the closest spot up front, no matter how big the parking lot is. You cruise in, and it's like a nice person. They're walking out, or you see them as they're, you know, like assume it's going to work out. And most people don't. Most people assume they have to settle on their finances and their relationship and their career. But it's the people that are intentional. You know, it's funny. I was talking to my buddy. We were down by Newport Beach. I'm sure you're familiar with it in San Diego.
Yeah.
And you know, we grew up in a relatively okay area, but some of my buddies grew up in some rough areas. And he was saying, like, man, it's so different here. And I said, the difference is that people want to be here.
Yeah.
People were intentional to be here.
That's right.
They're intentional about their significant other. They're intentional about the way they dress. They're intentional about their car, or where they live. Most people, you know, are not necessarily intentional. They grow up in houses that are circumstantial. Right?
Yeah.
Circumstance brought me here. Carefulness brought me here. Frugality brought me here. But when you go to places where people wanted to be, you know, nobody coincidentally ended up in Newport Beach.
No, hell
people
no.
who lived in Newport Beach wanted to be there. They wanted to be there. They wanted to drive this. They wanted to marry this person. And when you're in an energy of intentionality, it gives you the confidence to give yourself permission. Like, dang, I want to be intentional. I wanted to, you know.
Yeah.
And most people don't. Most people are circumstantial, not intentional. Totally
Straight
true.
up. Let me give you one more thing on that, dude. Like, see, this is great now, because now that's like the change in me. Just knowing, and you got to be in alignment. You can't be some fool that you don't do the right stuff and you're just lazy as hell and you know, you're, and things are just come to you. You have to be in alignment.
Right.
Go make your damn bed. Go brush your teeth. Like, be a good spouse. Be a good neighbor. You have to be in alignment. But check this out. So we move, and the school finds out, and my 10-year-old daughter, they're like, yeah, she can't come back to school no more because she's out of the district. Okay, so she's going into 4th grade. She went there as kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. She's won awards, good student, all that good stuff, right? And they're like, yeah, she can't come back to the school, you know, next year. I was like, okay, we'll see. So I go, you know, it's literally the last day of school of it was summer 2019. So my wife's like, what are we gonna do? I was like, they got thousands of kids at that school district. We got one. Okay, like, you think they're gonna stand up to me? Like, you think there's no way in hell. Right. So just the thinking, bro, just the thinking's different. I'm just like, there's no way in hell. There's no way. You can't. I'm 6 feet. I'm 228. I got a big attitude. Ain't no way. It's not happening. So, you know, I get my little corporate political game on. I email the principal and, hey, Mr. Morgan, Mike Barron, Juliana Barron's father.
Good morning. Yeah.
Great morning, sir. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, you know, very eloquent, you know, and I just start pumping it up, and you know, Juliana's created friendships and relationships with staff members and other students that will last a lifetime. And it would be, you know, very tough for us to, you know, to send Juliana to a new school. He doesn't answer. But I have HubSpot where I can see him checking email. Dude, open up the damn email like 25 times. His ass still don't want to answer. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm sending him emails all damn summer, still not answering. He finally acknowledges it and says, hey, I got your emails. Thank you. Thank you for being patient. I'm out. Check back in July. Okay, cool. Done. Hit him back in July. It's going nowhere. He finally says, hey, I've looked at it. Unfortunately, X, Y, and Z, no. So now I start hitting up the damn school district, and I start hitting them up. And I don't want to be a, you know, pain, dude. But come on, my daughter's been there all years, and now she has to bounce. Like, that's not really fair in my mind. So now Juliana's set to start school in a week. And my wife's like, what are we going to do? Now there's 3 days. We sit Juliana down, and I'm like, Juliana, you know what's going on? She's like, yeah. We didn't tell her, but she just knows. I was like, okay, so let daddy figure this out. You're going to have to start school at a new place, and, you know, just hang in there. I got it. Omar, it was a year ago. It was fucking emotional, bro. Like, I was pissed to do that to my daughter. Gave her a big hug, loved her. I'm going to buy you some new Legos. Okay. Yeah. You know, okay, we'll talk in a little bit. So I looked at my wife and I was crushed, dude. I was actually pretty emotional. You know, like, it sucks. Now it's the first day of school. We sent her to the new school, and it's just different. The kids have to fall in line. The culture is different. The kids are all just different. Okay. Not a bad place. It's just different. And I'm like telling my wife in the back, like, this shit sucks. Like, this school sucks. Okay. Okay. So she starts, and I'm just like, I go down to the school district, speak to the superintendent. They're like, she's not available. I'm like, yeah, she is. And the superintendent comes out. She's like a homegirl. She has like a tattoo on her ankle, and she's cool as hell. I tell her the whole story, and she's like, Mike, are you sure you want to go back? I was like, yeah, definitely. It would mean the world for me. She's like, okay, because as a mom, to get denied by these people and to want to go back to the same school in which they denied you, are you sure? I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, me and you, we can move mountains. 1 second. She calls the damn principal. She calls the damn woman at the front. She's like, Mr. Barron's going to that school. And she got the okay. Yeah, dude, she got the okay. I promise you, right? Wild as hell. She puts her hand like on my lap, on my wrist. She's like, have a great school year. She gets up and gives me a big ass hug. Like, she went out of her way. We were next on the list, and the kid didn't report, but she was still getting resistance from the school. So I'm like, can I pick up Juliana? Like, she's like, Mr. Barron, you can do whatever you want today. Dude, I go swoop up my daughter at lunchtime. You know, we're in the whip, we get the Benz, mash the music, we go down to the beach, bro. We're just chilling that day. You know, wow. What's the point? I don't know if my parents would have done that, or I don't know if other people would have done that. It's just, it's Dylan with getting into the spot because he didn't have the ID. It's Dylan getting the nice table. It's having our daughter go to the right school. It's Mike being successful in his business. It's just, and that's some of the changes I made, Omar, recently. Just laser focus on what I want. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's powerful too, because I think it speaks to the fact that like the universe gets out of your way when you're intentional. I have found this to be true time and time and time again. And if you think about it, that's the reason the show's called The Passionate Few, because like you said, only a few people would do that.
Mhm.
You know, only a
Yeah,
few people would do that. And nothing would be great if it wasn't against the grain, you know? So
right.
I think that speaks to what you're saying. And I think
Yeah,
sales, most people energetically carry a lot of energy that makes people come up with objections or makes
right,
people doubt people.
right.
You know, like I'm sure you've seen it too, where some of the highest ticket sales ever are like, oh, that's the price, okay, cool. And then you
Yeah,
talk about something else. You're not even talking about, well, what about this, or what do I get, could I get a free this or a free that? It's you know, we had a similar thing with us, is like, when we first started out, we have $2,500 programs, $25,000 programs,
sure.
and the $25,000 people, there's no resistance. It's
It's
like,
crazy,
oh,
right?
I need this, I need this. Yeah, let's move, let's click. The 2,500 are like, oh, is there a discount? Is there a
Right.
deal? It's hard to get 2,500 than it is 25,000, because of the level of intentionality. And like you said, it's
Yeah,
the quality.
yeah,
Most people at the lower thing are worried about the quantity.
yeah,
So yeah, man, I much respect to you and your daughter. My parents wouldn't have done that.
yeah,
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 it's so cool.
yeah. Will Smith talks about what you said, man. It's like he's like success. It's like liquid. It's like water. It wants to move out the way, and
Mhm.
you got to like tap in. You got to like literally you got to step like so you got to step out that damn matrix, and that's
Mhm.
what's happening for me right now. I'm like, oh shit, this is how what it's like,
Mhm.
and these things just start moving and just start moving out the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also people respond to certainty. You know, Tony
Of
Robbins has
course.
this line when he says,
Yeah.
when two people meet, when one person is more certain, whoever has more certainty, that rapport will naturally swing the conversation in that direction.
Straight up.
So for example, they're used to people saying, oh, can we go to the school? And they say, hey, sorry, unfortunately, no. And people go, oh, okay. But when someone, no, like, this is my daughter, and you create the image in their mind, it
I'm telling
becomes
you.
very hard for them to break that image.
Yeah.
But most people don't like the friction, and so as a result, they just settle for what the rest of the world wants to give them.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop settling, dude. I heard one of my coaches says, he said, Mike, being reasonable, he says, it's to make sense of something odd or peculiar is normal. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, that's what reasonable is. What's reasonable is, get a degree, go, work long, for a couple decades, go retire. That's cool. If that's your deal, that's fine. But he's like, dude, like Elon, those guys are unreasonable. Those are guys are unreasonable. So when I first started my deal, like, come on, Mike, be reasonable, bro. You're gonna start your own business, bro. Come on, be reasonable. And you kind of want to be like unreasonable. You know what I mean? To break through and be one of the passionate few.
Hey, absolutely. And the last part on that is like, look where you came from, man. Section-8 housing,
Straight up.
um, 2 felonies. You had tons of challenges and getting into the wrong thing, feeling like you had a black cloud,
Right.
getting a job that you thought was your dream job, young,
Yep.
gaining momentum, and then boom, pulled out from underneath you. But you were still, no matter how many doors you got trapped in, you'd always find a way out and into another
Yeah.
one. And so I think that speaks to the resilience, and it also
Thank you.
speaks to this beautiful metaphor. So I want to acknowledge you for it. Is have you ever heard the analogy of like a butterfly or a caterpillar that goes into cocoon before it becomes a butterfly? Have you
Yeah.
heard of it?
Yep.
So the process of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, it goes into cocoon, and a portion of the caterpillars in the cocoon actually suffocate and die in there when they stop wiggling. But the other portion that becomes a butterfly in the cocoon, they're wiggling,
Yeah.
and wiggling and wiggling and
Yeah.
trying to get out of the cocoon.
Right.
And wouldn't you know that the exact muscle necessary to break out of the cocoon is the
Shit.
exact muscle necessary for it to support the wings for it to fly.
Wow.
And so
And
some people are in their cocoon and they stop wiggling, and so they suffocate and die.
yeah.
Other people keep wiggling, even though it's, and the metaphor here is that sometimes in life you're going to be in cocoon in tight places
Right.
that are tough and there's no room and it's dark and you're wiggling
Yeah.
and not really getting anywhere and it feels like nothing's really working, but you're working muscles that are going to support your wings down the road. But you'll never see that benefit unless you keep wiggling to get to that point. And
Yeah.
so I think, that really speaks to where a lot of people around the world, especially during COVID, man, everyone's in a cocoon of some fashion, right? We're fortunate we're in the online digital world, but a lot of people out there are realizing now more than ever, the power of sales, the power of online,
Yep.
and seeing the holes in their business if it's just, limited to, something that's not recession proof, that's not pandemic proof. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I want to acknowledge you for keeping on wiggling, fighting through those tough times. and for being one of the passionate few and for being on today, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. And you know, all you guys that are going to check us out, hit me up. I'm a real dude. Look me up on IG, DMikeBarron1, THIEMIKEBARRON1. And you guys can grab my free sales courses. You guys can grab my free communication courses. There's a link in the bio. Just hit me up and then reference this, and I'll give you guys like $1,000 program for free. Just reference this interview. Tell them Omar.
Man, thank you so much, brother. Yeah, and we'll make sure to plug all the links in the description below. And I was going to say, where can people find you? But it seems like you told them. So you said Instagram, Facebook, and then we'll have programs in the description below. People can check out if they want to learn more about you.
Yep. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. My Instagram stories are funny as hell. So check me out. I like to.
Awesome, man. And then real quick before we wrap up, we always play a quick game where it's called First Things First. So I will rifle off a word or phrase, and then you just tell me the first word or phrase that comes to mind. Make sense?
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Let's roll.
So you can say a word or phrase that comes to mind, either or.
Sure.
The only rule is that you can't repeat yourself twice.
I gotcha.
Cool. All right. So number 1, money.
Abundance.
Number 2, limiting beliefs.
Horrible.
Your past.
The past.
Your future.
Wide open.
What makes a great salesperson versus a mediocre salesperson?
Communication.
The hardest lesson you had to learn.
Don't quit.
Ooh. Best piece of advice you've ever received.
Grow your awareness and your skill sets.
Worst piece of advice you've ever received.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
And then passion
is where it's at.
I love it. And then last but not least, what you hope people take from this interview when they listen to it, and what you hope they do to apply it to their life.
Yeah. So, you know, I told you I been following GC for many years, Eric Thomas. I don't know how many people are out there like me on the internet that like people can identify with. You know, like I told you, man, I was like khaki suited out. When, you know, I had my Impala and all that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people, like Grant's cool, but Grant's also a middle-aged white dude. White dude, women, doesn't matter. Male, female, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, I show up to like a ClickFunnels event. I'm like, where are the homeboys at? Like, where are my dogs at? Where are the rappers at? Like, I identify with like a 50 Cent. Where's Nipsey Hussle at? You get it? So, and I love everybody, man. But what I really want people to see is that, you know, it's kind of like, if I can do it, anybody can do it, but you got to work your ass off. You have to really, you want to reach these heights. You have to become that person, and it has to be inside and not on you. And I got into this game because I love people and I really want to help people. And I think I feel like that's one of my purposes, is to help people. So if you're going to get anything from this, hit me up. Let me know how I can support you. I got a big ass team and good people behind me that want to do that. You know, you guys do the right shit, know that you deserve it, and get everything you deserve, man. Like, for real. Like, go get the expensive shoes, go get that ribeye, go get that nice crib, go help people. Just, you can have it all, for real. And you just got to figure that part out. And that's what I'll say to these people, everybody watching.
I love that, man. And your family must be incredibly proud of you, seeing that you came from, you know, Section-8, rough situation. The Mike always getting in trouble. You know, Mike was always a menace, and now Mike's on the millions.
Yeah, they're proud, man. For sure.
Very cool, Mike. All right, thank you so much for being on, brother. And again, you guys can follow Mike in the description below. Follow his Instagram, Facebook, any of his programs, and make sure to reach out to him. As he said, he'll hook you guys up if you let him know that you came from the Passionate Few. You can tell him Omar sent you, and he'll hook you up there as well. Thanks so much for being on the show today, Mike.
You're welcome, bro. Peace.
Okay, you brother. Take care. God bless, and thank you for being one of the Passionate Few.
If you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we bring you the very best in personal development content, interviews, and insights to help inspire you to take your life and your dreams and make them a reality. And also, if you want to know how to book dream guests the same way I have, you can check the link below for my top 3 secrets. So if you have a podcast or a show or whatever it is and you want to collaborate with them, if you click that link below, I'll give you those top 3 secrets to help you get in touch with anybody. And also, don't forget that the Passionate Few is available on media platforms as well. So you can subscribe to the podcast. And until next time, thank you for being one of the Passionate Few.